Hello, viewers. As you already know, probably posting at midnight, but tomorrow is 9/11. 9/11 is one of the world's saddest events that has happened. I mean, World War II has happened, but 9/11 was just a terrible day. A very, very terrible day. When two airplanes flew into the Twin Towers, killing thousands of people. I, myself, have cried, listening and watching that. I mean, being as a 13-year-old, it hurt. Because, I watched the clip, and the only thing I see is just the towers smoking. I mean, it's like people worked there. People, you walk in there, you say hi to the person that's next to you. And being up on that high office building, and with the smoke and the fire, people jumping out of the windows, and, to any family out there that's had to suffer with the problem of 9/11, you matter. You're beautiful in every life. Those who had to endorse pain and suffering from your loved one going to Iraq, you matter. Anyone who lost a family member in 9/11, it could be a father, a boyfriend, husband, girlfriend, wife, daughter, son. You matter. Because it's difficult when you see some of the firefighters crying to mourn their co-workers' deaths. Because those men ran inside that building. Everybody ran the opposite way. They ran inside the buildings. They knew it was going to collapse. But they still went in there. They still ran up the stairs to try to save people. And the aftermath, where the fog or the smoke came through New York City, I'm sorry, I've never gotten emotional in a video like this. There were people running down the streets, just scared, terrified, banging on businesses, scared, crying. They're confused. They don't know what happened to them. They don't know what happened. And an eerie silence fell over New York. An eerie silence. And somebody said, sorry. God, sorry. I'm just getting really emotional here. Someone said, look, there's papers falling out of the sky. And these papers were the last thing that these people typed. The last thing these people would hand off to their co-workers. There was a video clip of people running down the streets, crying, screaming, jumping on ambulances, jumping on top of cars. Because they were scared, they were horrified, they didn't know what just happened to them. They were crying, there was death. More importantly, there was sacrifices. And I'd like to thank other countries that's kind of supported America through the way. Like Russia. Russia made a memorial about 9/11, from what I've heard. And I'd like to thank Russia for that. Because a lot of people died. A lot of people fell out of the buildings and died. Those were people that had families that they wanted to come home to that night. To come home to and just open the front door and just say, I'm glad to be home. But no, they couldn't do that. They couldn't come home and just enjoy life. They won't be able to see the technology we grew up with nowadays. They wouldn't be able to go outside on a Saturday evening and just lie down in a field and just enjoy life. No, they die in an office building because of issues that our government and president couldn't control. It was a terrible, terrible day. And the Pentagon was next to be hit by an airplane. People panicked, were screaming and crying, running out of the building. Because they were confused too. They didn't know what was going on. On Flight 93, passengers fought their way into the cabin. But as they fought with the hijackers, the plane dipped toward the field. And slowly but surely, the field became closer, and they slammed the plane into the ground. Those people were scared, but they had the confidence to get up and fight, and that's what matters. And what's sad about this day is it took 2 planes to crash into 2 towers for people to stop fighting over their differences, for people to stop fighting over who you are, for people to stop fighting over politicians, to notice we're humans. It took that day to realize that other countries have mourned for what happened in 9/11, because there's been people from other countries that worked in those offices, and they were killed too. And it's unfair. It's unfair that they don't get to live. It's unfair they don't get to come home to their daughters, their sons, their wives, or husbands. And a lot of great people died. A lot of nice-hearted people that just did what they were supposed to do in life. They worked. They worked, came home, ate dinner, watched TV, and went to bed. Next day, they got up, did the same thing. And Saturday, they spent time with the kids. Sunday, they went to church. Some of them did, some of them stayed home. Well, let me tell you something right now. When you lose a family member, it's quiet in the house. There's no more dad or mom running through the house being happy. There's no more going to the store knowing that you have both of your parents with you. There's no more of that. The only thing you could do is just pour your heart out. And that's what matters to you, because that's what you're supposed to do. But 9/11 is the worst event that's ever happened on America's soil. Right next to Pearl Harbor. But 9/11 was a disaster. Just people were scared, frightened. You know, like you're supposed to do. You're scared. You're frightened. There's people running around you, panicking. And they don't know what to do either. You can't just ask an officer what happened. Cops were stunned, scared. But is it really right to get rid of cops? Answer me that question. When they have the dignity as firefighters as well to run into a burning office building and save people's lives. One thing you tend to forget is governors like Greg Abbott and millions of other people have invented things for people from 9/11 to live better, to live a better life. So they don't have to constantly hear, oh, I heard that family had a husband as an officer. Ew. Because they kill people. Cops have saved lives for millions of years. And you want to get rid of that? These cops ran into this office building along with firefighters and random people. Ran back inside to save people from the towers. And this is what they get respected with. This is the welcoming that they get. This is the hello that they get. Cops are people that we need in our society, not people we should despise. Cops are people who defend us. Firefighters are who what comes to our house when we have a problem, and they try to fix it. And they try to fix it. If it's a fire, they come to our schools when they're burning. Kids are trapped inside. They break open the door and they let the kids run out. Their priority is to save you and take out the fire. Cops are there to protect you and save out and kill and take out the target or the enemy. There are people in this world that want to do bad to the world. And they want to destroy anything that they can find. It doesn't matter if it's a fucking office building, for crying out loud. It doesn't fucking matter. They will destroy no matter what. But that didn't mean we had to declare war on a country. That didn't mean we had to despise cops because one made a terrible accident. If you think cops should be gone, you stop and think for a second about 9/11. You stop and you think, what if it was you in that office building, stuck up there, not knowing what to do, and a cop came up there and got you out, or a firefighter came up there and got you out? They're risking their own lives, not for just you, but for everybody in that building. They're risking not coming home the next day. They're risking not coming home to their children the next day. But they do it anyways, because in their hearts, they know that they're supposed to protect our society and defend anyone who is hurt or have been beaten or have been, in other cases, I can't say. It is terrible to see how people treat cops. I mean, a cop saved a girl from trying to take her own life one night. She ran away from home, about to jump off a bridge, and the cop was thankfully able to catch her and stop her from dying. What if that was your kid, huh? What if you tried to do something stupid to yourself and a cop told you to stop? He's not doing it because he hates you or because what you believe in. He's doing it because either you've done something wrong and they know it, or they're there to serve and protect you. That's what they're there for. They're never gonna arrest you for who you are. They may arrest you for something you've done in the past. Yes, we know it's scary to admit it, but it's better to go to jail for 6 months than to go to prison for life for assaulting an officer or being in a protest. So stop and think about it, people. Think about the families that had to suffer pain and hardship because other people blame them for having cops in their families, for having cops that went into buildings and saved people, for having firefighters go into buildings and save people. A cop saved a baby during a tornado. You don't believe me? You can sure as hell look it up on YouTube. I'm telling you, people. Cops and firefighters are what keeps the world truly spinning because they do their jobs perfectly. A cop is willing to risk his life for you. A firefighter is willing to lose anything for you. And what does that person get in return? A cop gets hate. He gets spat on. And what did he do? Nothing at all. Except save you. And this is what you do in return. We gotta get our stuff straight, or if another accident happens, what is it gonna take, people, for you to stop and think? That person next to me. Maybe if I should try starting a conversation, it doesn't matter if he's white, African American, just talk to him. Be kind. It doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. Stop and talk to them, because you never know. It may take another accident for people to realize, like that we're not so different after all. I hope y'all understand.